pick up on it. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Society. We are grateful to gather on this beautiful morning, both in person and online, for a time of inspiration, reflection, and connection. Whether you join us today with joy in your heart, weighted with burdens, or searching for meaningful connections, we are glad that you're here. My name is Marcia Cheney. I'm a worship associate here at UUS, and my pronouns are she and her. I'm a somewhat shorter than average white woman with shoulder-length brown and purple hair, standing in UUS's pulpit at the front of our sanctuary. Our sanctuary and adjoining commons are filled with people of all ages. And through the window walls of our sanctuary, we connect to the natural world around us, where it's a little damp and overcast and beautiful for a spring morning. As we gather, we give thanks for this land and all who have cared for it over the centuries, particularly the Kickapoo, the Iowa, the Sauk, and the Meskwaki, and the Oceti-Shakawan nations. As people of many ages, genders, races, sexual orientations, classes, abilities, and health statuses, we know how important it is to come together and work together to create a radically welcoming spiritual community. As Unitarian Universalists, our faith expresses our core value of love through how we agree to be together and to support each other. We are guided by the shared principles, sources, and values of our living religious tradition. This morning, as we examine our understanding of service, we will celebrate and explore how it applies to the values of interdependence, generosity, and transformation. If doing something with your hands during worship services helps you, we invite you to visit the soul work table outside the sanctuary doors. Pick up something to work with. If you're newer to our congregation, we invite you to learn more about us after the service. For those here in person, you can talk to a greeter in the atrium. And for those online, there's a link to a visitor form in the YouTube notes that will let us connect with you. As you probably all know, tomorrow is Memorial Day, a day that traditionally focuses on military service, with flags and parades and picnics and concerts. But I recently learned another way that we observe this holiday, a national moment of silence that happens at 3:00 p.m. Silence can be a powerful source of growth and transformation. Mother Teresa was known to say, "The fruit of silence is prayer. The fruit of prayer is faith. The fruit of faith is love. The fruit of love is service. The fruit of service is peace." And so, step by step, the world is changed. We invite you to join us this morning not only to memorialize loved ones who died in war, but to honor those who served in other ways as well. We'll think about how service often involves sacrifice. What was the cost of saying yes to service? We'll reflect on our own experience of service, how we act in service today, and what kinds of service we might consider in the future. Our call to worship this morning is "We Gather to Remember" by Nicole McKay. We gather to remember those who could not grow old and those forced to grow old before their time. We gather to mourn and grieve with one another all of our losses, the people, the stories, the loved ones, and the future that could have been. We gather to do the hard work of facing the difficult realities of our present and our past, where there's conflict, violence, war, and hatred. We gather to hold space for silence as we try to make meaning of our history to help us work for peace and justice today. We gather to rekindle our source of hope for our future by recognizing in one another our shared humanity as we join in a concerted commitment for a better tomorrow. We gather because we need community to do all of this holy work.
Body or spirit for our opening hymn as Tranquil Streams, number 145. As tranquil streams that meet and merge and flow as one to seek the sea, our kindred hearts and minds unite to build a church that shall be free, free from the bonds that bind the mind to narrow thought and lifeless creed, free from a social code that fails to serve the cause of human need, a freedom that reveres the past but trusts the dawning future more, and bids the soul in search of truth adventure boldly and explore. Prophetic church, the future waits your liberating ministry. Go forward in the power of love, proclaim the truth that makes us free.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Levitt. I'm a worship associate at the UU. I'm a tallish, Caucasian, middle-aged man wearing a black and white shirt, red pants, who had a nickname of Shaggy as a youth from Scooby-Doo. As Unitarian Universalists, we light a flame within a chalice as a symbol of sanctuary, safety, and hope, to unite us in our worship and to remind us of our ongoing search for the light of truth. Please join me in saying our chalice lighting as Riley lights our chalice. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the wonder and mystery of this great gift. So let us now kindle the flame of our liberal religious heritage and renew our covenant of mutual love and care. Love is our doctrine, the quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to serve those in need. This we promise, this we covenant with life and one another. Each week we light a candle for justice and healing to acknowledge our interdependence with the natural world and all the members of the global community, especially the most vulnerable. We light this candle so that we may not be numbed to injustice and trauma, but rather find strength, courage, and love as we work in solidarity with others for liberation, justice, and healing. Together we create resilience and hope. During this Memorial Day weekend, we light the candle. We're particularly mindful of those who have lost their lives in one form of service of another and hold them in our heart. As I light this candle, let's hold time of silence to listen to our hearts and our bodies, or perhaps lift up prayers.
Good morning. My name is Nick Kaplan. My pronouns are they, them. I am a shorter than average non-binary person, which is why I had to get the stool out. Who here likes to do good things? Okay. Who likes to make a positive impact on the lives of others? Yeah. Who likes to help? Yeah, okay. Does anyone here feel overwhelmed that you're not doing enough good things? Lots of hands again, yes, me too. With those questions and those answers in mind, I'd like to share an old story adapted from The Star Thrower by Lauren Isley. You may have heard this one, but I find that it doesn't hurt to be reminded of it every once in a while. First, let me tell you the story, and then we'll add to that. One day, a man was walking along the beach when he noticed a child picking something up and gently throwing it into the ocean. Approaching the child, he asked, "What are you doing?" The child replied, "Throwing sea stars back into the ocean. The surf is up and the tide is going out. If I don't throw them back, they'll get trapped and die." "Oh dear," the man said, "don't you realize there are miles and miles of beach and hundreds of sea stars? You can't possibly make a difference." After listening politely, the child bent down, picked up another sea star, and threw it back into the surf. I made a difference for that one. For many of us, the starfish story is the standard call to duty, knowing that each life that we touch matters, even if it's only one. We all have the opportunity to help create positive change. But if you're like me, sometimes you find yourself thinking, "I'm already really busy, and how much of a difference can I really make?" I think this is especially true when we're talking about addressing massive problems like tackling world hunger or war or fascism. But it pops up all of the time in our everyday lives as well. So when I catch myself thinking that way, it helps me to remember the starfish story. You might not be able to change the entire world, but at least you can change a small part of it for someone. If everything we did had to have a huge, immediate impact before we gave it a little bit of our time, we'd end up doing very little with our life. And sometimes the little things we can do add up and turn into big things. They make ripples that spread out further than we can see. Those sea stars that the young child saved may have gone on to produce thousands more and to be an important part of the ocean's ecosystem. So the next time you get a chance to make a small difference, don't worry about the big picture. Just do it. After all, it might not be a big difference to you, but to somebody else, it might be. Each week, when our children and teachers head to our classes, they light a lantern as a symbol of our love and the hope that goes with them as they explore our faith. Today, even though we are small in number, our children and teachers will be saying goodbye to the classrooms as we have known them for this church year. We are closing out our church year with a special ritual in each classroom, and then the children will get to go outside and celebrate the beginning of our summer session. So, children, youth, and teachers, please come forward as Alex lights our lantern from our chalice. We can all join in singing "Be Open" as they head to religious education. The words should be on your screen. Yes, they are. Thank you, Art and Kendra.
Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Aye, 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 aye. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Aye, 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 aye. Aye, 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 aye.
We know that service always comes with a cost, to the ones who serve or to those who are close to them, and often both. We recognize that saying yes to service requires saying no to all the other opportunities. The volunteer firefighter may miss a child's birthday party. Military families may not be able to forge deep connections in their community before it's time to move again. Protesters give their time and sometimes sacrifice their freedom or personal safety in service to their cause. As we enter into our time of meditation, contemplation, and prayer, we reflect on those people in our lives who have engaged deeply in service. We'll do this by dropping stones into a bowl of water, symbolically immersing our personal memories into the flow of all who have struggled or died in a service to a country, to a community, or to a cause. The water surrounds and holds the stone, just as we are surrounded and held by the love and support of this congregation. Please take a moment to think about the people in your life who have served. Who or what do you pay honor to this weekend? What was the cost of their service? If you're participating in our service elsewhere, you may wish to meditatively hold a stone, wash your hands, or meditate on an object near you. If you're here in person, feel free to come up, take a stone.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
May we hold the memories and losses of our congregation and the wider community tenderly in our hearts and minds today and in the coming days. When we need a listening ear or heart or a helping hand, may we reach out. And when we know of needs, may we offer support with loving kindness. For it is in sharing our lives, our cares, and our joys, and in giving and receiving that we know community most fully. Blessed be. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love." And so I want to start this time where we go a little bit deeper into meditation and contemplation by inviting you to expand the way you think about service. And knowing that all of us serve, what does service look like in our day-to-day lives? So let's get comfortable in our seats and take a few deep breaths together. Breathe in and out, letting go of other concerns for just a few minutes. Breathe in and out, fully present in this space. Once more, breathe in and breathe out. Service is an act of love, a love for humanity. It can be as simple as sharing a smile with the person you meet in the bread aisle at the grocery store, or holding the door for someone as they enter or exit a building, or letting another car go in front of you in the school drop-off line. Service is an act of love, a love for family and friends. Making a cup of coffee for your partner in the morning, making dinner for your family, sending an email to a friend you haven't talked to in a while, or offering a hug to someone you know is struggling. Service is an act of love and gratitude, and it need only take a moment. A thank you and a have a nice day to the clerk at the convenience store. A wave to the mail carrier. A text to say I love you for no other reason at all. A quick prayer that those working in the ER tonight are bored silly. A song sung just to bring joy. There is no wrong way to serve, and there is no age limit or minimum contribution. Everyone can act in service.
Reading from Good Omens, Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. It used to be thought that the events that changed the world were things like big bombs, maniac politicians, huge earthquakes, or vast population movements. But it has now been realized that this is a very old-fashioned view. The things that really change the world, according to chaos theory, are the tiny things. A butterfly flaps its wings in the Amazonian jungle, and subsequently a storm ravages half of Europe. A reading from the American Dream speech by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be unless you are what you ought to be. That is the interrelated structure of reality.
This morning, as almost every week, when we lit our chalice, we said, love is our doctrine, the quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. So today we're focusing on the service part of that. Service is our prayer. What does that mean to you? How do you live that in your life? Just like there are many ways to pray, there are a multitude of ways to serve. We've mentioned quite a few of them already this morning, and I think you realize by now that you don't have to quit your job and join the Peace Corps or write a check with lots of zeros on it to be of service. In fact, I would argue that it is the small acts of service, like the child throwing the starfish left by the tides back into the waters of life. The small things we do day to day that can make the biggest impact. Take a moment now to reflect on what small acts of service you have done just this past week. So when you came into the sanctuary this morning, you found a small piece of paper on your chair. If you don't have one of those on your chairs, look around because there are lots of them out there. You're each going to want one. Now take another moment to think of a new act of service that you could do in the coming week that fits into the category of that verb on your little piece of paper. And then, because words have power, turn to a person nearby and briefly tell them about your plan. Then listen. Listening is another act of service we can do for each other. Listen as they tell you about yours, or about theirs. And then we'll call you back together by ringing the singing bowl. Something I can share. This week that was different. Well, I'm so I can share that. I can share that with other people to do that type of work. Sounds like there are a lot of great ideas out there. So we've talked a lot about what service we can do, but we haven't mentioned what service does for us. Service can make us feel like we have something to offer the world. It can manifest our best selves. It helps us step out of our own life's experience to better understand the lives of others. Service invites us to bear witness to values and ideals that we hold dear. It allows us to address injustice when we see it. Service can bring unexpected gifts, a new friend, a deeper understanding, a different skill, new knowledge about ourselves and others. It allows us to protect the people and the ideas that we cherish. It gives us an avenue to create the things we want to exist in this world. And service helps us build the connections Dr. King spoke of. Together, each of us can become what we ought to be, what the world needs us to be.
How we give, what we do with our lives, our time, our resources is a reflection of our values in response to the abundance we are blessed with. Every week, this congregation donates generously to organizations in the community whose work aligns with our values and our principles. Our community partners this month is Inside Out Reentry Community. This Inside Out Reentry program works with individuals who are incarcerated throughout the state to help them develop the reentry plans regardless of where they plan to live after release. They do this by offering a resource center to learn life skills, improve employment readiness, and find housing. They also have a community mentoring program and weekly meetings to support each other and form connections. In the sanctuary, the ushers will collect the offering. All cash contributions go directly to our community partner agency and the Community Common Fund. If you can follow the instructions on the screen to give online. If you are writing a check, please use the memo line to designate the purpose. In addition to assisting our community partner, you may contribute towards your pledge or make a gift to support our operating expenses. The offering is a sign of the commitment to this free congregation, which is completely supported by the generosity of all who join us. As we give and receive this offering, may we be transformed by our giving, and may the world be transformed by our gifts. May what has been shared today help us more fully affirm our interconnection and live into love and justice. Immediately after the service, we gather in the fellowship hall and outside for conversation and community. If you're a newcomer, we hope you'll grab a snack and then sit down at any table so folks can join you for some conversation. For those who would like to share their joys or sorrows in a conversation in a smaller venue, the Pastoral Care Associates will be leading a compassionate care circle in the Walnut Room immediately after the service.
Our closing hymn is number 1017, Building a New Way. Please rise and body your spirit. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feel our every need. Start with love, every need. Start with love, that is the seed. Weed with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need.
Please join with me in the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. All these we carry in our hearts and our minds until we are together again.
And as you go back out into the world, we offer you these words from Ellen H. Gates to serve as inspiration. Your mission. If you cannot go on the ocean, sail among the swiftest fleet, rocking on the highest billows, laughing at the storms you meet. You can stand among the sailors anchored yet within the bay. You can lend a hand to help them as they launch their boats away. If you are too weak to journey up the mountain, steep and high, you can stand within the valley while the multitudes go by. You can chant in happy measure as they slowly pass along. Though they may forget the singer, they will not forget the song. If you have not gold and silver ever ready to command, if you cannot toward the needy reach an ever open hand, you can visit the afflicted, or the erring you can weep. You can be a true disciple sitting at the Savior's feet. If you cannot in the conflict prove yourself a soldier true, if where the fire and smoke are thickest, there's no work for you to do, when the battlefield is silent, you can go with careful tread. You can bear away the wounded. You can cover up the dead. Do not then stand idly waiting for some greater work to do. Fortune is a lazy goddess. She will never come to you. Go and toil in any vineyard. Do not fear to do or dare. If you want a field of labor, you can find it anywhere.